And this goes back to when things started, quite frankly, because we became a society that rewards manipulators, liars, and people that can show you one thing and do something else. That's how people become successful. There's very few people out. It's like Chris Rock says, behind every great fortune is a great crime. That is an incredibly intelligent observation from a man who is supposed to be making you chuckle about like dick jokes. That is an incredibly astute observation that people don't understand the truth behind it. When you go and look at the people that have flourished in past times, they all were criminals. They all took advantage of people. They did bad things to amass that benefit for their family. And it paid off, obviously. But that's the point. These are the people whose kids are running things now. The people that cheated and manipulated and committed all the crimes. This makes total sense. All the rich people who are, of course, they have these genetics. They were raised and built by the genes of manipulators and liars and charlatans. People with no conscience that have no problem ripping people off to put some in their coffers instead. When somebody had two of something, they wanted the two and somebody else got nothing.
Yeah.
And they made that decision again and again and again in life. And that's what made them the business success that their family is today. Other than the self-made people who just were really smart and who really came up with a good idea and who did it fairly. But yeah, most rich people, I mean, you're talking super rich, you're talking billionaires and hundreds of millions of dollars, all of these giant brands. Look at McDonald's. We've seen that movie. The original people at McDonald's were such wonderful people. They were giving away hamburgers for 5 cents. They had this unique concept. They brought out the food immediately. You don't need a tray anymore. He was so blown away by this. Ray Kroc says, I have to get this opportunity. This is a wonderful chance to make money. And so he goes into business with them, and he steals their entire idea and opportunity from them. How many times has this happened? And then another thing I've seen on threads where people talk about there's so many historical findings that are attributed to men that were actually done by women and people of color. They had a theorem, and then the next day they were fired, and the professor has a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying that happens all the time because I'm a terrible white male, but these are all my thoughts. I'm not stealing from anybody. I've just learned things. But I don't put it past any of those current white males, especially ones in power, to do that. And that's the whole point. And so let's start a conversation from that. That's the next podcast I want to have.